Hello, everybody. Happy Monday. I am here for my weekly training. Happy Monday, everybody. I'm so happy to be here. So happy to start a new week with you. I am super, super excited because now it is exactly 3 weeks before my free 5-day workshop is kicking off in my group. Anxiety is Simple Way Out. And yeah, I'm super excited. I am working around the clock with my team to prepare an amazing journey for every participant. Each and every one will have hands-on support and a lot of care and guidance. So I'm super, super excited. I'm working around the clock, creating content, ideas, planning interviews, planning the daily trainings, the bonuses, being in touch with people, making sure everyone are on board. And if you're not yet registered, please let me know and I will send you the link. Just comment here below and I will make sure that you're on board with us. Or if you know someone that might benefit from something like this, do let them know, tag them here on this video, or share that with them, or ask me for the link and forward it to them. And even if you're watching this video right now on our group Master Your Path, please, if you're not yet registered specifically for the workshop, then still do DM here below. I want to make sure that you're on the list for the workshop itself, so me or one of my team members can reach out to you, make sure you have the workbook, make sure you have all your questions answered, make sure you are tagged when we are kicking off, and that you are getting the personal support that I want you to receive. Now for today's topic, how triggers in relationships are actually a blessing. So I wanted to talk about communication in relationships. So this is not anxiety specifically, not around anxiety today, but definitely about emotional pain, emotional struggle, emotional communication, emotional triggers. And these are things that I'm sure everyone watching now or later in the replay are familiar with, because that's part of life, right? That's part of life. That's part of being in relationships with other people, either partners or children or parents or friends or co-workers. This is really, yeah, one of the central areas of our life, relationship, of course. And I might focus more around relationships like with your life partner, but this definitely applies to other relationships as well, and surely applies to close relationships, so with other family members or with close friends. For sure, everything I say here applies. And this is really where our emotional triggers are most active, right, in those close relationships. So why is that a blessing, and how is that a blessing? Well, if you are someone like me, then you see life as an inner journey. This is how I see life. For me, life is an inner journey, and my main objective in life, since I was a little girl, I remember myself talking about this, writing about this in my journal, about how life is an inner journey, how I've always been eager to learn about myself, to develop myself, to expand my awareness, to understand life, how it works, what it is about, who am I, and all those big questions, right? Oh, Susan, thank you, darling. What so nice of you to show up, and I love you. Let's talk. Yes. Mwah. Thank you so much, Susan. So yeah, so ever since I remember myself, these were the questions that were kind of occupying my mind, right? These existential questions. And so if life is an inner journey, then we are here to learn about ourselves, and we are here to release inner obstacles on our way to freedom, to inner mastery, to total and optimal fulfillment, right? And so we have some lessons to learn along this path. And you know that in Hebrew, many times I mention my mother tongue Hebrew because this is a very powerful language, and there is a lot of truth coded in the language itself. So in Hebrew, the word lesson and the word gate are very, very closely related, almost the same word. And whenever we learn a new lesson, then a gate opens up for us to step into the next level of our growth, the next level of our journey in our evolution, right? And I hope that makes sense. Yeah, so when we learn a big lesson in life, when we manage to release some layer of our personality, or heal some inner wound, or learn some big lesson, then really we step into a new level of our journey, and it's like a gate that opens up to us, whether it is in relationships specifically, or in career, in finances, in fulfillment, in creativity, whatever that is. Every time we learn something, we expand, we open a gate in our journey. So when it comes to relationships, those very triggers, the biggest triggers, the bigger the trigger, the bigger the blessing. Because the bigger the trigger, the bigger the lesson. And the bigger the lesson, the bigger the gate. The bigger the opening and the expansion that is available and optional and possible for you once you learn the lesson. So the trigger is really the opportunity to learn and to grow. And every challenge in life is an opportunity to learn and to grow. And there is no growth without friction. There is no growth without challenge. And actually, I was just talking today about, well, I wasn't talking on live, but I was preparing a video, so you will see that in the upcoming days. I was making a video about inspired effort. So what I was just saying now about friction, in every growth there's friction. It reminded me of that video I was recording today about inspired effort, because, you know, I hear so much about how you want to, how you should not work so hard, or there is this term path of least resistance coming from law of attraction and manifestation and that kind of work, which I totally relate to. I'm all about that. But what I wanted to talk about on that video that I recorded today and that I'm mentioning now is that I don't think that means, I think that there can be a lot of misconception and misunderstanding around that, because there's a difference between resistance and effort. I don't think resistance and effort are the same thing. You want to find the path of least resistance, but sometimes when you are making an inspired effort, when you are inspired to make an effort to grow, when you are inspired to make an effort to create something, when you are inspired to make an effort to find something or to solve something or to reach something, then this is how you reach that thing or grow. So it does need that inspired effort. It does require the friction. Growth requires friction. So if we come back to today's video, and what I'm talking about here today, specifically triggers in relationships. And if you're watching here, just so you know, unless you comment, I don't know if you're liking the video or if you're watching it, I don't know, because I'm streaming this through a cool service that is called StreamYard. I'm not here to make any advertisement, just to explain why I cannot see if you're liking or watching, only if you're commenting. So I see Susan here commenting, which is so fun. And hi, Maria. Hi, lovely. So good to see you. Thanks for being here. Yeah. All right. So yeah, if you're watching, please say hello in the comments so I know you're here. That would be so fun and heartwarming to know that you're here with me. And if you're just joining right now, I'm stepping out a little step again out of my topic here today, triggers in relationships, just to mention again that on December 7th, I am kicking off, me and my team, an amazing 5-day free workshop on my group, in my group Master Your Path. And it's called Anxiety: A Simple Way Out, but it's not only for anxiety. So it's any kind of emotional pain or trigger or trauma or struggle. It's all about helping you overcome these hurdles, these inner obstacles, and learning tangible tools to overcome and to reach a consistent baseline of resilience, of confidence, of contentment. So if this is something that you're looking for, if you know someone that is looking for that, please comment here below. Or if you don't want to comment here, then send me a DM so I can make sure that you're on board with us for December 7th. And even if you're watching this on the group right now, please, if you're not registered yet, let me know, because it's not enough that you're in the group. We want you in the workshop. So make sure you're in, comment below, or send me a DM. All right, so back to triggers in relationship and why is that a blessing? So as I was saying, growth requires friction. So when we are triggered in our relationships, then we are actually getting the opportunity to learn and to grow, to learn the lesson, to open that gate, as I was saying before, that every lesson opens a gate, and the Hebrew language really demonstrates that so perfectly. So usually, especially in relationships with our life partners, if we have one or if we had one, but not only, any close relationship or any relationship for that matter, where we get mostly triggered is actually where we need most to learn and to observe ourselves and to resolve something so we can grow to the next level of our growth, of our evolution. And that is why I say, and that is what I mean when I say that triggers are blessings, because we want, again, if you are someone like me, then you are here to learn and grow and release and peel off all those layers that are hiding your light so you can shine your light in the world and fulfill your highest potential and your higher self. So if you're all about that, then you want those triggers. You want those opportunities to learn about yourself, to have the opportunity to look inside yourself and resolve what needs to be resolved and release what needs to be released. Yeah, so usually where we get most triggered is what we most need to look at and look into and explore and heal and give our attention to. And so let's take this a little bit down to earth. So what do we actually do? Okay, triggers are awesome, but how do I do that? When I get triggered, I get pissed off and I hate my partner, or I don't want to talk to him, or I just want to, like how do we actually do that? Because that sounds really awesome when I talk about it like that, but in real life, that's not very simple. And I know that, believe me, I know that. I get triggered too, okay? So I'm speaking here from experience, and I'm sure this is an experience that we all share. So how do we actually do that? How do we actually use those emotional triggers in our most close relationship as blessings? And how do we use them as lessons to grow and expand? So if you want to do a little exercise, I would suggest the following. When you find the time, or even right now, if now is a good time for you, take a piece of paper, or if you have your favorite journal, and really write down maybe the 1 to 3 top issues for you. So in your relationship, so the 1 to 3 top subjects that get you triggered, that piss you off, or that hurt you, or that gets you, whatever that is for you, anxious or angry or resentful or sad. And really first get the clarity. So clarity is usually the first step for any process. You first want to have clarity on what it is that you're working here on, what does that exercise or subject or process or topic means personally to you. So what are your triggers? What are those subjects or issues that trigger you mostly in your relationship? And you can choose a specific relationship if you want to explore this. And then after you do this, the next step would be and for that you can really think of a specific situation that actually occurred, so you can extract this information from. And a situation that, that is a good example for something that is reoccurring. And see, okay, when this happens, what is the setting? What is usually the circumstance? What is kind of the repeating factors in the circumstances or the situations in which this happens, this shows up? What is the other person is saying? What are they saying that triggers me? What is the actual language? Literally write down the words that are spoken to you when you get hurt or triggered, or what are the behaviors as well, and what is the setting? What is the background of it? Yeah. So again, more clarity around that. And then, so that's the second thing. Yeah. So first thing is, what is the subject or subjects? The second is, what is kind of the setting, and what is the communication? What is being spoken to you, or what is the behavior demonstrated to you when you get triggered? Also, so before we step into the third step, actually, as for the second step, also what you would like to know is, so what is spoken to you, what behavior is demonstrated to you, and then what state are you in? Is there any kind of, repeating, reoccurring characteristics that you can identify in your own personal state when this usually happens? Are you usually in a certain mood in the first place? Or maybe it's usually when you just wake up in the morning, or before you go to bed, or when you're hungry, or when you're stressed, or anything like that. If there's a specific mood that you're in the first place, usually when that happens. So really look deep, kind of zoom into the situation to understand if there are any specific reoccurring elements that usually are part of that setting when you get triggered around those subjects that you listed in the first step of this process. Yeah. So the first step again was, what are those subjects? 1, 2, 3 subjects that you usually get triggered around. And then that zooming into that, what is the setting, situation, time of the day, what is being spoken to you, the behavior that is being demonstrated to you, your mood, your state. Yeah. And then the third step would be, okay, when you get triggered, what is going on in your mind? No matter what is being spoken to you, because at the end of the day, we are the sole responsibles. We have the sole responsibility for our own reaction and to whatever is happening to us. And I hope this makes sense to you. If not, then this is a whole nother topic for a whole nother training. But I believe that we have total responsibility for whatever happens in our life. So we want to have a close, honest look on what is going on in our system between our ears when we get triggered. So what are the thoughts? Literally write down 1 to 3 or 4 or 5 sentences, literally as if you're recording someone else speaking. Write it down. What are the sentences that are being spoken in your mind? That's not fair, or I can never do this, or this will never work, or I hate it, or anything, whatever that is. Even if it sounds, trivial to you, it's very, very important to have that clarity and that honest look. And that's also because eventually you would want to kind of change the disc. So there's a disc playing in your mind. It's literally, the trigger is like a button, right? Something happens, it clicks a button that is prone to be triggered in those circumstances and in this setting. And when it gets triggered, this disc, this track is being played in your mind, those thoughts, right? And these thoughts activate an emotional state which promotes a reaction, right? And then we fight. So we want to zoom into this process and have a close, honest look on what is going on there for you, so you can start making changes out of free choice to not be triggered or to react differently, to create changes in your life. And this freedom, as I always say, is a skill. It is something that we can practice. You practice it, and then you master it, and then you practice it more to sustain the mastery. That's what it is. That's what well-being is. That's what freedom is. So back to relationships, back to triggers in relationships. You know what? Before back to, let me say that again. What I was just saying, what I always say, that well-being and freedom is a skill, and that is a skill that you can practice and master. This is exactly what we will be talking about and learning in the workshop, 5-day workshop, free workshop in my Facebook group, Master Your Path. And we will be learning new kinds of processes and very, very tangible tools to this practice with hands-on personal support. So each and every person participating in the workshop will have a coach on my team that will be reaching out in private messages, phone calls if needed, whatever is needed. So each and every one is getting, for 5 days or more, personal support, so you can really come out of this workshop with real results and real tools to further practice and implement. So if you're not yet registered, or if you know someone who should be registered to this workshop, please let them know about it. Please tag them here in the video, or comment below, and I'll send you the information. Make sure you are registered, and even if you are already in my group, still you want to be registered specifically for the workshop, okay? All right, so now back to this topic, to this training today, triggers in relationships. So we were talking about a process, right? So you want to, again, have clarity on what are those 1 to 3 subjects around which you are usually getting triggered in your relationship. Then you want to know clearly what is the setting in terms of the situation, the time of the day, the location, the circumstance, what is being spoken to you, what is the behavior that is being demonstrated to you that triggers you, and what is your inner state that you're in terms of mood, hunger, tiredness, whatever that is, so you can really know what is the setting, what makes that situation prone to escalate, yeah? And then the third step, and most important, is what is going through your mind, between your ears when you get triggered. What is that disc that is being played when you get triggered? When that button gets triggered, what is being played in your mind? What are the thoughts that you are thinking automatically when you get triggered? Okay? Now, we can take this to different directions here. What I want to say mostly at this point is to highlight that when we get triggered, when this automatic reaction is activated, what really happens is that within us, this precious, fragile little child that lives within us is hurt. is reliving the same pain or fear that they have, that she or he has experienced a long, long time ago. And when we are in a relationship, especially with the most closest people in our life, then when we get into a fight, what really happens if we had this kind of goggles or a filter to look through, like a special kind of Redgam that will show us, what's on the inside of the two people fighting, the two adults fighting, we would see two little children, right? And there's also this famous sculpture now coming onto my mind, with the two people back to back and two kids holding hands or something like that. I don't remember exactly how that looks. So it's really two children fighting. And what do you do when children are fighting? As a responsible, sensitive, loving adult, when two children are fighting, when your child, if you have children, is fighting with some other kid, or if you're a caregiver, or what do you say to these children? You acknowledge their feelings. You let them know that they are heard, that they are seen, that it's okay, that they're not alone. And you support them, you give them this comfort and confidence, and then you try to understand what is their need that was not met. And that's not always available for children, unfortunately, but if you now can think about what you would want to do with a child that is hurting, that's what you would want to do. I only assume that's what I would want to do anyway. Right? What is the need that is not being met? There is a need there that is not being met. And as children, because we don't know how to express our needs very well sometimes, or because sometimes there were no one there to listen, then we react in the best way we know we can that will somehow solve the problem, either give us a sense of power, or a sense of, or some kind of attention, or some kind of protection, depending on the situation and the personality, right? And so we either make a fuss, make a big drama, or we close off, shut down, or something like that. So as adults, we react the same way. As long as we don't get the opportunity to get to know this inner child on a very, very deep level and really learn their personal emotional needs that are not being met, we will continuously react from that place. And when we get triggered in our close relationships, this is our biggest opportunity to get to know that child, the child that is still living within us very, very closely, to really listen. Hey, okay, I'm here. You want to care for your inner child as if they were, a real child. And you want to say, hey, what's going on? What do you need? What happened? Now, it doesn't mean that, the child will get whatever they need, right? Sometimes children need things that cannot be fulfilled in the way they want it to be. But it's not about that, right? It's about listening. It's about giving them the sense of security, of care, of giving them the space and the love and giving them, getting their back, right? So if you have a good relationship with the person that you're at the moment fighting with when you get triggered, then when each of you do this kind of process and get in touch with each with their own kind of inner child, and then you get to have a conversation about this, then this can open up a very beautiful, deep and loving and sacred space in the relationship that you can come back to every time, even when you're fighting, really, even when you're fighting. And the first side that is able to say, hang on, this is what's going on here. I'm hurt, you're hurt. Let's see what this is about and what do we need. And we really listen to ourselves and to the other person, then beautiful, beautiful growth and healing and communication can stem out of this. So this is what, these would be the first steps that I would advise you take if you haven't done anything like that before. And even if you have, then this can serve as a very good reminder to take a step back and have this close, honest look on yourself and how you get triggered and what triggers you and how you react when you get triggered in a relationship. Doing all those steps that I was talking about, and then bringing this to the table, not during a fight, of course, sharing this with your partner or with your friend or with your family member, and doing some work around that, because as we said, these triggers are actually blessings if you make them to be, if you consider them as the opportunities that they really are for growth and for healing. I hope this all makes sense to you. I hope this is helpful and inspiring. If you're watching it now or later in the replay, please comment below. Please let me know that you're listening, that this is making sense to you, that this is helpful, that this is valuable for you. That would be so, so heartwarming for me to know that. And of course, let me know if you want to register and join the free 5-day workshop that we're having December 7th, Anxiety, a Simple Way Out. And you can replace that word anxiety with emotional pain, trauma, guilt, fear, depression, sadness, all these insecurities or hurdles that so many struggle with. So my intention in this workshop is to give some support and some guidance and some really useful tools that, with the support that we are preparing for each and every one participating, real personal hands-on support. My intention is that you come out of this workshop really prepped up and prepared for the rest of your journey with some more clarity and stability and resilience and joy that you can sustain ongoingly. So this is the purpose, this is the intention, and this is the plan. All you need to do is just to show up. So comment below or send me a message. Let me know that you want to join us, and I'll make sure that you do. And I'll see you next week on my next weekly training. Bye, everybody.